Billions of dollars flow through the meme coin market every single day. Most traders actually lose money with meme coins because they lack a clear strategy. But imagine if you knew a proven strategy that would guide you through the meme coin market and help you make consistent money every single day. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you not just one, but 3 strategies. I'll start with a beginner strategy that can produce massive returns. I'm talking 10, 20, 50x. Moving down the line to more advanced strategies that are much more reliable and lower risk. If you stick until the end of this video, I promise you'll have such a deeper understanding of how you can win in the meme coin market. But this is not financial advice. And you need to know that trading meme coins is extremely risky. Most people lose their money. These strategies are ones that I personally use and require practice and experience to get right. Therefore, this video is for your educational purposes only. Never trade with money that you can't afford to lose. My name is Vic. I've been in the crypto trenches since 2020. I've worked with brands like Coinbase, Exodus, and probably over 100 more. I've hit multiple 10x's, I've hit 50x's, and we even hit a 50x together in my Telegram chat just a couple nights ago. And what I need you to understand about making consistent money in the meme coin trenches is that, first off, the size of your trades actually matters a lot, because $500 a day is technically only 2 Sol at the time of recording. If you're trying to make 2 Solana with like 0.1 Solana, you have to rely on a 20x, which is pretty damn rare, I'm not gonna lie. Therefore, you have to have a little bit of size, a little bit of muscle. I trade with around 5 Sol minimum in my trading wallet when I enter the trenches. If that seems like a lot of money to you, I completely understand. What I would recommend if you can't afford to lose 5 Sol is to practice these strategies on paper, meaning write down your entry point and write down when you would have sold and see if you actually would have made profit if you traded. Then you can potentially move into trading 0.1, 0.25 Sol. Just know that the profits that you do make are probably going to get eaten up heavily by fees. If you are able to hold that balance and trade with about 5 Sol at a time, you're going to be able to make $500, $1,000 a day pretty easily if you can master one of these 3 strategies. But again, I'm only speaking from personal experiences. All right, so just so you know that I'm not completely LARPing and I have a bit of a foundation here, this is one of my trading wallets I'm using right now. I funded this just a couple days ago with 2 Solana. You can see it is currently sitting at a balance of 17 Solana. I don't have a perfect win rate. That is literally impossible. I'm not trying to do that. My win rate here is about 50%. But with that being said, I really don't get rugged. I know how to check for the elements that will rug me. If you don't know how to do that, make sure you watch this video right here, how to identify scams in meme coins. It's crucial. In order to even be a part of my Telegram channel and my chat and give CAs to the chat, you have to watch this video. It's literally mandatory. So now that we got all that housekeeping out of the way, let's get into the very first strategy, a strategy that I've been discussing with my chat and even on X a lot recently. And I like to call this strategy Asia time. Hold up, I am not being racist. Let me explain what Asia time means. So I'm based in Canada. My time zone is Eastern Standard Time. That's like New York time, Toronto time. And within our time zone and close time zones, we have an okay market. We have decent liquidity, decent volume. In Europe, for example, the market is known to be really, really slow. There's not a lot of volume. But when the Asian market wakes up is when things go bananas. We saw it very recently with a token called Vine. This was created by the founder of the old video app called Vine. And essentially when we woke up in Eastern Standard Time, we saw that the Asian market ran this token up to $550 million market cap on day one. Crazy amount of liquidity. And what I've seen in the past is that tokens just explode overnight. And I've actually just started utilizing the fact that Asia time goes crazy. So there are a lot of details that go along with running this strategy right, but essentially the Asia time strategy is all about buying a token right when you're about to go to bed and then waking up in the middle of the night and selling it. And that's to assume that you're in the same time zone as I am or close to it, somewhere in North America. If you're on Asia time, then like, cool, just trade it. But if you're in North America, this really applies to you. Wherever you are in the world, just orient yourself to the Asian time zones, and this is how you play the strategy. This is a beginner strategy because all you have to do is identify a token that meets certain criteria, buy it, and then literally wake up in the middle of the night and see if it multiplied by 5, 10, 20x. I just did this last night with a token called 4chan. And you can see, here's my P&L from Nova. I invested 1 SOL and I sold for 10.8 SOL. I put in $260, I came out with 2.85 thousand, nearly an 11x. So here's the chart for 4chan. You can see that this thing ran up and around 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock a.m., it peaked. This is actually exactly where I sold. I actually bought this token around 1:30 in the morning down here. So let's just kind of zoom in on that region and see what we're working with. So when we see this aggressive hockey stick type growth on a token, that's our first indicator that this thing might go on a vicious run. Another thing I want to look for is the 5-minute volume. Right now, it's only $60,000 on the 5-minute, but when I bought this, it was like $350,000 to $500,000 volume on the 5-minute, which is another huge indicator for me that this thing could go for a run. I've probably said in every single video I've recorded in the last couple months, but volume is everything when it comes to these tokens. 5-minute volume for me is the biggest indicator. Also, 4chan. 4chan's a website. It's an older type of website. It was really popular when I was in high school, around the same time that Vine came out, and that's the meta right now, the narrative, the trend that's happening in meme coins, basing it around the whole Vine success. There's like a YouTube one, a Twitch one, all this stuff. 4chan fit the meta, so it checked the box for me. The last thing I did before I got in this was I ran a bundle check through Telegram. Again, if you don't know how to run a bundle check, watch my video on identifying scams. I go over that in depth. I want to know if this thing will rug. And if the dev owns a ton of the supply hidden in bundles, then it's most likely going to get rugged. And I just don't want to risk that. Like I said, I rarely get rugged. It's because I know how to identify this stuff. So essentially what I did was I bought in at around, I think it was like 550-ish. And then I literally just went to bed. Like I saw it running. Like if I zoom in a little more and we get a better view of like what I was seeing, like imagine seeing that. So this type of aggressive hockey stick growth is what I want to look for. I'm not going to be scared by these pullbacks because the volume is going to gobble up all of these cells. Set an alarm on my phone for about 3:30 in the morning to check back. So around that 3:30 in the morning point is when we saw the first peak. I remember witnessing this. I woke up, I started selling 25% clips around here. And then it started dipping back. The volume was still really strong, so I held on through it. I didn't buy more of the bottom because you never know if it's gonna go down or not. I don't wanna eat my profit up by buying back into a project that I already hold and I'm already profitable in. And then from that point, I mean, it just started going absolutely nuts. It peaked around 18 million. I think I sold 100% at 16 million, and then it died down. So to summarize the Asia time strategy, we find a potential runner, we buy it at midnight Eastern Standard Time, around that time, and we just let it run overnight till very early, maybe 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, we come check on it. I've seen this pattern over and over. This is when Vine peaked. This is when many other projects have peaked. The major risk here is that you get rugged or it doesn't run and you go to zero in your sleep, right? That's the major risk here. But the risk versus reward is pretty stellar. I don't use this strategy too often, but I've had a lot of success with it. You definitely can pull this strategy every single day. If you spread your bets into different projects overnight, you'll probably have a better win rate. But I really like to focus on finding that just disgusting vertical hockey stick, no bundles, heavy volume in the meta, and I'm in. Looking back on the trade I just made, I probably should have aped like 4 or 5 SOL, because I would be up like 50 SOL right now. Let's talk briefly about strategy number 2. This is what I really base a lot of my brand around, especially in my Telegram channel, and that would be high conviction plays. Just a side note, if you're not a part of my Telegram channel, it's completely free. I post market updates and trending tokens every single day. We also have a thriving community. There's almost 2,000 people in a group chat, and it's not a messy group chat. We're very strict on the rules. We try to keep it very high IQ, and our mods are on it. So you can join the channel and the chat for free in the description of the video. A high conviction play is a token that when you see it, it's like the stars align. You basically are like, whoa, this is the next big thing. I've had my most success with these types of plays. I've had it with Fartcoin, and recently I've had it with MLG. This all comes back to a philosophy made famous by Murad, who's a meme coin expert, investor, millionaire. And he says, stop trading and believe in something. Murad's whole thesis is to hold on to a project that you believe in for the long term, because overnight, the right exchange listing, the right type of buy pressure can create what we call a God candle and basically take a pretty stale project 20x, 100x in one day. Depending on how much money you store in these high conviction plays, you can easily make $500, $1,000 in a single day from one of these big candles. Just depends on if you want to take profits or not. Now, I don't have a P&L statement for MLG because I actually bought it on Phantom, and I still own MLG. I've never sold a dollar of it because personally, when I look at this project, I see 750 million to $1 billion market cap optimally. I did find and call MLG in my Telegram at 68 million, but this is what I'm talking about. So this is the MLG chart here from 68 million all the way up to 180 million. We touched that point multiple times. You can see when I zoom in, there were multiple days with massive candles running up from 70, 80 million all the way up to that $180 million market cap. If you had decent sized bags in this high conviction play, you were making more than $500 in a day easily. And if you want to take that profit, I mean, run it up. The key here is that the idea has to make just perfect sense to you. The community has to be super strong as well. MLG is something that I grew up with. It's Major League Gaming. When I was in high school, I was obsessed with MLG. I went to like 8 MLG events. I even produced a commercial that was aired on the MLG stream when I was 18 years old. Over 11 million people watched that commercial the first weekend when they had StarCraft 2 first on MLG. Anyway, it means a lot to me. When I saw MLG get pushed by FaZe Banks at that level, I was literally breathtaking. Like I was like, no way. I jumped right over to Phantom and I tossed a couple bands in and we've run it up. We've also run it back down, but like I said, I'm not selling. So one other thing that I mentioned is backers and influencers. Who's backing it? FaZe Banks is super famous in the crypto space. So for him to go and back up MLG, literally get MLG tattooed on his body, super bullish signs. This community is psychotic. We love psychotic communities because they hold an incredible floor for other people to come and build off of. This is not an everyday strategy. This is not necessarily a beginner strategy, but more of an intermediate, because you gotta identify that a project actually has legs to run. And you kind of gotta get the culture of meme coins, because there's a lot of copycat tokens or just they seem cool tokens, but they never go anywhere. MLG to me is different. That's why I'm holding it long-term, high conviction. Lastly, we have strategy number 3. Now this strategy, I think, is the most reliable, most consistent, and kind of most secretive strategy in the entire meme coin trading game. But when you understand why it works, it just kind of clicks, and I rarely lose on this strategy. I call this strategy the post rug. If you've been in the market for a while, you should be no stranger to a rug pull. A rug pull is when the developer of a project or snipers and insiders of a project accumulate a ton of the supply and watch the chart climb. Typically, a rug pull is actually really well crafted. They've paid for the deck screener, the dev sold, they have a Twitter page, they've boosted it on deck screener, they're paying for ads on deck screener. Like, they check all of the boxes of a really nice project. They're even most of the time fitting the meta too, right? Like, this fits the bill of a project that should just run. But what happens is the project runs up to about $1 million or like 3 million, maybe $5 million market cap. And the bundles that the dev and the insiders bought start firing off and they just dump on everybody. This is why, again, you should be watching my Identify Scams video. But there's a way for us as outsiders to observe the rug pull and profit from the aftermath. This is what I call the post-rug strategy. And actually, I pulled it off last night as well. So this was on a project called Jordan. Here is my P&L. If you're wondering how I got this P&L, it's from Nova. Nova is the fastest trading bot on Solana. There's actually a waitlist to use it, but you can skip the waitlist if you know somebody. Luckily, we just became best friends, and I have a Nova link below that you can use to get access. It's built right into Telegram. It's super fast. You can adjust the fees to whatever you want, and the user experience is honestly seamless. It also prints out these sick P&Ls every time you close a trade. So you can flex on your friends after you make crazy gains from practicing and executing on some of these strategies or other strategies that you learn online. Anyway, back to it. So here is the chart. Here's the deck screener for Jordan. You can see this is literally trending number 24. They boosted it 2,000. The picture's super clean. They have a website, a Twitter, everything. Like, these guys have an elaborate rug here. And as you can see, they ran this thing up all the way to a $16 million market cap. And then they dumped heavily on everybody. It tried to run up again here, and then it dumped all the way back down here at about 500K market cap. Now, I'm looking for all of these things. Like, I want the decks to be paid. I want the image to be nice. I want the trend to be there. And more than anything, I want that volume. The volume is so key. Now, on the 5-minute, I remember vividly, this volume was like 1.5 million. It was so vicious. And when your volume is 1.5 million, that is going to be trending super high on deck screener. So the amount of attention and visibility this project is still getting, even though it got rugged, that's so valuable for this strategy to work. And this is what I did. So we have the rug here, and I'm zooming in on this section here because this was when I bought in. So switching over to the 1-second chart, we can see the rug coming down, and then we can see things really starting to settle at the bottom. What happens is it hits a floor and it kind of double bounces off this floor, which is actually kind of bullish. And then it starts to reverse into an uptrend. Now let's zoom in a little more here, because what I want you to notice, what is the market cap difference between here and here? At the bottom, it's 615K. At the top, it's 1.6 mil. That is a 2.5x. But when you zoom out, it looks like nothing. It looks like a little blip. Switching back over to the 1 minute here, we can get a better picture of what ended up happening. It ran up, it dropped back down, and it ran up again. Now, you can just ride this little wave right here, or you can hope for a bigger wave like this. But me personally, on a post-rug play, I'm aiming to make like 30%, 50%, 80% in seconds. This is a trade where I'm dropping like 3 to 5 SOL at the very, very bottom. I'm gonna try and time the bottom because I'm gonna see it kind of reverse. And I wanna ride this up, and somewhere around here, before everyone else starts cheating, I wanna get out. I wanna be the one that makes the money, not them. And this is the amazing thing about Nova, is that Nova, if you refresh your wallet in Nova, you get the price faster than anywhere that I've seen. Literally, the price is updating seconds before deck screeners, seconds before Bullex. And how I made out so well on this Jordan play is because it was really slowly climbing in the 500 range. And then out of nowhere, when I refreshed, one wick on the chart brought up the price from 500K to about 850K, literally in one refresh on Nova. And I instantly sold 100%. It instantly went through because Nova is lightning fast and I was the one who gobbled up that green candle. That's why you need speed when you're trading these tokens. But you also need to know some of these strategies, because if you're just hanging out on Memescope or BullX Neo and you are just jumping into everything that migrates, like, you're gonna get wrecked over and over. I've tried that strategy. I've had no success with that strategy. And what's really cool with this strategy is you can actually ride and farm over and over again. If that project is at the floor and pumps up, some of the people that are buying in at the bottom are actually buying bigger candles, bigger bags. They're gonna sell off after a certain point, but the volume is still there. It's still getting the attention. And you can see that's exactly what happened here. It pumped up a bit, we G'd it out, and then it pumped up a lot more before they G'd it out here. So if you can farm the same project over and over and over and consistently make like 20%, 50% on a 3 SOL or 5 SOL trade, dude, you can make way more than 500 in a day. And it's already been rugged. It's already been dumped. The floor is there. It's held by bag holders. The risk of you getting dumped on at the very bottom is so low. Literally, it's only up from there. And if you can jump in with a 3 SOL or 5 SOL bag, you are actually bumping up the trend in your favor. And that's what traders want to see. Right when those green candles start going back up, people are going to ape back in. This is like my favorite strategy right now because it's so sneaky. It's so backdoor. No one knows what's going on. You're in, you're out. And that's how I love to trade. Just make a 50%, an 80%, maybe a 2x on 5 SOL, and you're laughing. If you got more to play with, if you're like, but I want to go 20 SOL, I would probably do it in multiple clips so you don't get your candle gobbled up completely, because there are a lot of bag holders at that lower level. But either way, this strategy is pretty damn effective. I hope you got value in this video. If you're not in the Telegram channel, I don't know what you're doing, bro. Join. And if you're not subscribed, I feel like I've given you enough value at this point for you to maybe subscribe, maybe like it, maybe drop a comment. Either way, if you don't, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Make sure you stay safe in the trenches.